Hello everybody, this is Purge bringing you guys a Terrorblade replay. I'm so sorry it took forever for me to make this, but if you guys have been following my vlogs, a lot of stuff has happened in the last couple weeks. Most importantly, we were practicing for a tournament where we did end up winning 60 million won. Guess I don't need to have this on my head. Ugh, yes, desktop mic. Yeah, we did end up winning an NSL, so I have a lot more free time now. I'll be getting back into more video production. I'll probably start up coaching a little bit as well, and hopefully for you guys, some more content for you to watch. So, Terrorblade, he's been out for like a month. Sorry it took so long for me to make a video. This hero's really good right now, in my opinion. I think he's very strong, and I can go over a couple of his strengths and weaknesses while we play this out. A little bit of backstory about Terrorblade. He's been in Dota forever, like ever since I played, so like 4 or 5 years or something like that. He's been in the game forever. He's been changed quite a few times since then. Originally, he was seen as a bit weak because he didn't have any disables. He used to have this, his first skills was like a life drain. It was kind of like Pugna's ability. He would life drain. Yeah, it was basically exactly like that, except it was a weaker, it did weaker damage, I believe. So it was like a very weak life drain. His second skill conjures an image, which it still does. And his third skill would turn him into a ranged form. It was like the Demon Hunter transform. If you guys have ever played Warcraft 3, transforms him into a ranged unit. And his ulti would swap the health of your opponent and yourself, which is actually very similar to what we have right now. At the very least, his second skill, his third skill, and his ulti are all the same. Slightly adjusted maybe in numbers and little things like that, but generally he's pretty much the same hero as that. Later, he was they changed his life drains slightly, and then they gave him this AoE Conjure image thing, which you would cast an AoE on the ground, and it would make images of your opponents, and they would slow you and attack you. I think they removed that temporarily to give him, yeah, that's right, they gave him this like passive that gave him attack speed and HP regen was what it gave. They gave you attack speed and regen, and that allowed your illusions to hit a little harder, something like that. That was where I muted that guy. You guys can see. I don't know where he ended up warding that, but he did end up warding that. I checked that. But they changed it. It used to do an AoE for Conjure image, and now it's just a single target, and that's how it's a bit different. So it's only single target now, but in my opinion it's actually a better skill than it was in the past. The reason I'm killing all these trees, by the way, is in case my supports actually bring a sentry, it'll be easier for them to check the hiding warding spots. So I know I've talked about not to go Quelling Blade Stout Shield Tango in the past, but I wanted to try it out this game. I'd seen other people do it before on Terrorblade. The reason is because I'm pretty sure that Quelling Blade works on illusions. This isn't the case for Phantom Lancer. I thought this was the case for all illusion heroes, but I think it's just for Phantom Lancer actually, because he was able to farm a little too fast with it. But basically Quelling Blade, at the very least, it makes my hero last hit better, which is nice. I actually don't know what his base regen is. It may be a little bit better than other heroes, but we'll check in a moment. As soon as I take any damage from a creep, I'll be able to look at that. But let's go over how good Conjure Image is right now, or Reflection, sorry, is what it's called. It does a 60% slow for 5 seconds. This is ridiculously good with 1 skill point. If we look at the scaling of it, at least, the illusion damage is pretty darn good, but more importantly, it lasts for 5 seconds, it costs 50 mana, and does the 60% slow. So basically, it doesn't do that much damage, especially in the early game. It's a very small amount of damage, but that's not a big deal because carries really don't need, my Wisp stupidly pulled the wave here, which is kind of weird, but carries don't really need a lot of damage necessarily. Alright, Terrorblade doesn't because he actually has damage in his other skills, but a typical carry really just a lot of times is lacking a hard disable to be able to get kills. So the very few carries that we can think about that do actually have kill potential are heroes like Chaos Knight, for example. He does damage and a stun, for example, and you can right click on that. But like a Faceless Void or something, his disable is weak, and Anti-Mage has no disables in the early game until you grab items. So it's something that a lot of carries are really lacking, but Terrorblade now has that. It isn't AoE anymore, but it is actually a single target, and it lasts for 60% slow for 5 seconds. I think they absolutely need to nerf this skill. I think it's way too good at 1 skill point. The slow is 5 seconds. I seriously have to keep saying it because of how ridiculous it is. A 5-second slow for 1 skill point is obscene at 60%, in my opinion. So that's his first skill. I actually don't think you need to level this up. You can if you're against an illusion-based hero, like a mana burner like Anti-Mage, or against a Morphling because it increases their damage. Morphling especially, because the illusion damage can be seriously impressive. But against the heroes like Nyx Assassin or Jug, it's not a big deal. I don't think you really have to level this up. Jug's actually pretty good because the illusions can crit, but most heroes it's really not that important to do. in my opinion. So, second skill is called Conjure Image. This creates an illusion of your hero, and the hero does damage. Let's see what my regen is. It's actually really high. Your base regen is really high. I just saw that it was 2.6. I think that means you have, unless he has like, what does Wisp have? I'll have to check this later, but I'm pretty sure your regen is really, really high. I'm not entirely sure. I'm pretty sure it is. We'll check when the tango ends, but that was obscenely high. Your base regen is actually, for most heroes, is 0.25. 0.25 is the base regen for most heroes, and if I'm not mistaken, Terrorblade has like 2.5 regen or something ridiculous. I know that there was a period of time where IceFrog buffed a lot of melee carries because they were not being played. He thought that it was because their lane presence wasn't very good, therefore they needed more regen to stay alive. But I think Terrorblade is one of the heroes that did get hit with this. I just decided to hit the Nyx Assassin a bunch of times here, and now I think we're going to go for a kill. I'm going to transform into the ranged form. I really wanted to get that kill, but unfortunately I wasn't able to do so. So it doesn't look very good for me. I had a little misclicking there. Luckily for me, my Stout Shield blocked a lot of that damage. That's an illusion, by the way. Oh, that felt good. Your third skill that I'll talk about now is Metamorphosis. It turns you into this big creature dude. But it's ridiculously strong. In the past, it didn't give you that much damage, but now it does give you a lot of damage. It gives you 20, 40, 60, or 80 bonus damage that's added on to your base damage here. It also increases it makes your base attack time different. I don't know if it's better or not. I would have to check. But it changes your base attack time. And also the duration scales, and it has a transformation time. So it does take a little time to use. And it's on a huge cooldown, 140 seconds. The uptime is like a third or something like that. So basically, when you want to go into DPS Terrorblade mode, you turn into your range form, you conjure an image, and then you have 2 Terrorblades hitting. The percentage of Conjure Image is pretty low at level 1, but as it scales up, it's actually really good, up to 60% illusion damage. So if we do some quick math here, let's say you have a level 4 Metamorphosis. Let's say I transform into that. I'll get plus 80 damage, so I'll be sitting around, just to make math easy, we'll be sitting around 150 damage. If you also have max Conjure Image, you get 60% of that because this 80 base is added onto it. So 60% of 150 is 10% times 6, that's 15 times 6, so that's 30, 60, 90 damage. So your images hit for literally 90 damage. If I had 4 skill points in Conjure and Metamorphosis, I would have an obscene amount of damage. It's like your illusions your illusions hit for your hero before he transforms, basically. So you get a bunch of damage by transforming, and then your illusions hit as hard as you used to hit. It's like, it's a ridiculous amount of DPS damage. And you have to remember that this is only for stats and base stats. So this means Terrorblade is extremely much so. He is a stat-based hero. You want to grab a lot of stat items because the stats will give him a lot of damage potential here. I did end up transforming. This was the most depressing thing that I've ever lived through in my whole life, was not getting this kill. He's like a little faster than me. God, I was so sad. I thought I was just going to have a really, really easy kill. I didn't actually think I was going to be able to kill him, but then I remembered just how hard you hit with your Metamorphosis. It's basically a double damage in the early game. It really is. It's a really massive amount of damage. And I also forgot that Nyx's stun lasts forever. He's actually a level 7, which is maybe part of the reason why I wasn't expecting this, but he's a little over-leveled at the moment. He shouldn't have this many kills or EXP, but he does, so. I got stunned for like the full duration of 3 seconds or something. But yeah, the Metamorphosis does a ridiculous amount of damage. You should definitely max it out first. Illusions really don't scale that much early, even with the Metamorphosis. So you should always max this first, get the cooldown, or get the duration up, and more importantly, get the bonus damage up all the way so that you can go for solo kills. Like, this hero at level 7 can kill a lot of heroes 1v1. If you can get within the slow range. You have to remember the slow range is, the cast range is actually really short, so that's the one thing that's weak about this. But I think it should actually have to scale. I think it should be like, I don't know, scale 30 to 60 slow or something, I think would be fair, or something like that. The cooldown alone is not a big enough reason to not put skill points into this, so. I guess in your ulti now we can talk about that. It's going to be Sunder. Sunder allows you to swap your health percentage with an opponent or an ally. You can use it on allies, you can use it on opponents. The Nyx Assassin very wisely is mana draining me, and he's doing this because he wants to make sure that I can't use Sunder if I do get into a bad situation. And it's pretty likely because Terrorblade's strength gain is really bad at 1.9, so there is a good chance that they could burst me down. But that's why I'm playing really safe right now, because I definitely don't want to get caught. So I do know that the Coddle was in the area, but I don't know where the rest of the heroes are. It looks like their Nature's Prophet was actually doing some jungling here, and he has mana drain me again, so the chances of me being able to Sunder are going to be pretty low here, but I may have to be careful of getting dived. Now I ended up going for a Treads this game. As you guys can see, my attack speed is amazing. His animation is actually ridiculously good. I think Anti-Mage used to have the same animation, but Terrorblade's has since gotten better, so it's a little different. Gonna dodge a couple of heroes here. I don't know if... Oh, I guess we did have detection this time. Yes, my illusion got the kill. I was so sick. So we ended up killing Nyx Assassin. That was useful. Our sentry was already down. My mana's missing a bit, so I brought over a wand. I don't necessarily always recommend getting a wand on Terrorblade, but I think if they have mana drainers, it's not the worst. Oh god, I forgot to check my passive regen again. I'll be able to check it in a moment, I guess. But Tread's Drum is arguably the best early game item build that you can get on Terrorblade, just because it gives him a lot of stats. The bonus agility that I'm getting from this, the 14, this is added to my Conjure image total. And most importantly, the drum HP is really good. The extra HP will give you a bigger leeway towards getting your Sunder off in crucial moments. So it's pretty important that you do actually have that extra mana. The movement speed is also really nice. Your base movement speed is pretty darn high, so it can help out quite a bit. It's 315, which is pretty good movement speed. So all around, Terrorblade should just be built stats. I really like Treads. You can go for something like a Phase Boots if you want to. I'm really worried about getting stunned here, so I'm looking to juke. Just playing it a little safe. And I use my wand as well just in case I got stunned. But Prophet could be TPing on me, which is why I'm a little worried, I believe.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
So I'm going to finish Drum. I'll have Treads Drum. Wand, again, is not necessary, but you can get it. You kind of need some way to get a bit more mana. Drum is a good way to increase your mana pool, but either getting an Aquila, Basilius, or a Wand, I think, is a little required. Because at points like this, I would love to have a bit more mana. I could transform, I could use Conjure Image, but I'm a little bit on the low mana side. I can't actually also use my image with it. So this is why I'm playing so safe, because I don't really know where their heroes are. They could be ganking me. And if he is able to stun me, if the Nyx Assassin does stun me, I'd be in a lot of trouble with any backup. So I have to be really, really careful here. I'm sure he'll just mana drain me again. He keeps doing that, trying to keep me at low mana. But he has left the lane for a little bit. So I think it was okay for me to play a little safe here. I really don't want to die. He's going to mana drain me again. I have nothing. So at this point, I have to be really, really careful.
My woes grow light as a feather.
Our Phoenix is WTF ponying the offlane, so that's pretty good for us. Regardless, I've been in kind of a 1v1 matchup. Not dying is pretty good, but in most circumstances, you should be able to get solo kills. We could see him there because we had the sentry up. And I made it a little too obvious that I knew, I think, because I retreated almost immediately. And he's going to run to the right here, I think, because in the off hopes that I wasn't within sentry ward range, or that he wouldn't be then, but it did end up getting revealed, so he's going to mana drain me again. And I'm just going to transform here. That's actually all the mana that I had. But really, really easy kill after that point. Like, if he's already used his stun and he's mana drained me, it quite frankly doesn't matter. He's used all of his burst. He used his ulti. There was no point for him coming aggressive like that. Actually, he could have ran away technically if the Wisp wasn't there. But once the Wisp slow was applied and I was able to transform my ulti, he was 100% dead. And then the Wisp used relocate just to get me back to base, which is actually really useful. I got to finish my drum, and additionally to that, I also got to go full HP. I was going to have to go back to base no matter what there, so luckily for me, I was able to be in and out quite fast. So this is where Terrorblade gets really scary, is here to the rest of the game. And it's basically just because he does so much freaking damage. I should really make an illusion. It's a bit of a mistake for me. Make an illusion, yeah. You should always make an illusion right before you transform, if possible, because you want these ranged illusions as long as possible. I mean, these are hitting for about as hard as I am right now with this 96 or whatever. My illusions are probably hitting that hard. I wanted to pressure them a little bit here, but this was a mistake. Was able to wand right before that. And there we go, Sunder is used. Run, little wisp. I don't know what he typed here because, again, I muted him. But he decided to pause the game and probably flame his allies, I would assume. But getting the Sunder off helped so much. I was able to kill the Coddle, and I was able to live when I was getting ganked by like 3 heroes. So that was really scary, actually. So I'll probably go back at this point. Yeah, look at my HP regen. It is 3.7 per second. So that's kind of why you can get away with the Stout and the Quelling Blade, is because your base regen is so high. So I think this hero actually can get away with just one Tango in the safe lane. In most cases, it won't be an aggressive tri lane. If it's like an aggressive tri lane or something, you should probably have a Salve and a Tango. But I think if you're in against just one hero, then going without extra regen is going to be just fine. So don't worry about it. I think for this hero, Stout, Shield, Quelling Blade, and Tango is pretty okay. So yeah, I'm fairly farmed here. My CS is a little behind, but again, I haven't been just free farming. I've been actually being contested a lot and ganked, so I'm actually pretty happy with where I'm sitting. So this is the best skill build by level 10 as far as I'm concerned. You want to have your illusions maxed out a bit earlier. I've seen some people max out reflection. The best thing about maxing out is the cooldown is 10 seconds, which means half of the time that you're fighting somebody, they're going to be slowed. And half the time they're not going to be slowed, but that's pretty amazing. It's 50% uptime on a disable. So maxing out reflection again against illusion heroes is good, but I think in most cases you just want to leave it at this. Like I've put almost all of my money into just basic stat items and basic early game items so that my hero doesn't die and can be fairly effective. But there might be some games where you do end up maxing out reflection. Just I don't know if this is the one for me. So. This is a little scary for me here. I'm going to use the drum because I know that the Nyx is chasing me, so he wisely is going to stun. And they do end up killing me with all of their heroes, so well done by them. Yeah, the Dagon scored the kill and everything. That was almost going to be cool. This guy actually has literally nothing. This is our mid player, by the way. He's 0-2 and 0. And he just has a boots bottle and a wand. That's really bad for 14 minutes. That's really bad. That must have been the heavy weight on our team. We didn't really realize it, but I didn't realize he was doing so bad, actually. It made very little sense. And this is when I realized the Phoenix had a Hand of Midas, almost a Vanguard, and 3 kills with Treads. Phoenix is actually a really good offlane hero, so it's not too surprising that this was the case. He actually has a pretty darn good advantage against Juggernaut, as far as I'm concerned. So I end up dying finally. I'm going to go back to the safe lane, going to grab some more CS. I shouldn't have pressured the Nyx Assassin in the first place under the tower. That was definitely a mistake. I could have played a lot more safe about it. So. Anyways, back to last sitting. So these are early game items. I think this is definitely where you should go. One thing that I could be doing better that I haven't been doing this game is actually jungling with illusions. It's very, very easy to spend some time just microing illusions into the jungle because, again, they do a ridiculous amount of damage. And if they do actually get Quelling Blade damage, they hit pretty hard. So if you really want to accelerate your farm, you can take your illusions, you can send them into the jungle. I should have been able to get that slow off maybe, but not like my Invoker was really setting that up super well. But you can send your illusions in the jungle, you can pull with them, you can stack with them, you can do a lot of fancy things that I haven't really been taking advantage for. So I want to take the tower now. This is again where Terrorblade ends up being really useful, and it's basically tower pushing. I'm going to try to put a slow in this guy. Unfortunately, he's actually a little too fast and the range is a little too low. And what is it called? Reflection? Yeah, reflection. So range is a little low, wasn't able to catch him. And you may say I maybe wasted my my Metamorphosis here, but even still, I kind of just wanted to push towers with it, and that's where Terrorblade is really useful. His tower pushing is amazing because your damage output is so high. You can basically get a controllable DD with Metamorphosis and then summon your images and do a lot of cool things. So I wasn't really sure why that guy could still see me, but he could. So I'm just going to go hide. I should really be conjuring image here. I was a little worried about dying. I really hope I conjure an image before I use this, but it doesn't appear that I'm going to. Vanguards are good, guys. I actually did Sunder him there, if you didn't notice. He was a little higher than me, and I wanted to get about 300 HP. So I essentially used it as a 300 HP nuke and heal to myself, or 200 HP nuke and heal to myself, which I think is an okay usage. I was at the point, I was at half HP, there was a chance that I could be bursted down, so I think that was definitely the safe move, to just use Sunder. The cooldown's actually not that long at lower levels, and the mana cost does go down as well, so not too bad. So if you're pushing, again, continue to make images, right-click the heck out of stuff. you're going to see that I'm attacking faster. That's because of overcharge and treads. Your illusions actually do not get the treads attack speed, they just get the agility. And I'm going to get a tower. It's really easy to take towers on Terrorblade after you win fights. So again, spawn images, Metamorphosis, score kills. Now you might be wondering where I go after this in terms of item builds, and the best item build, in my opinion, on Terrorblade is actually to go for a Manta style. You can, well, alright, that's not entirely true. If you want to do the style of play that I did this game, then I think Manta style is the right way to go. This guy used his Quelling Blade on a trio, is pretty funny. Number one, you probably should stack illusion items. In most cases as a Terrorblade, but there are other ways to play. And the other way to play, if you want to go heavy hard carry mode, the best item to finish first is actually a Radiance. At least from what I've seen from some top tier players playing it. The reason Radiance is so good, it doesn't give your illusions more damage, but it does give them the burn effect. And more importantly than just giving the burn effect on your illusions is your ability to farm with the Radiance once you end up picking up. Like my illusion there is hitting as hard as a hero should be. It's pretty ridiculous. But if you get a Radiance on him, you can basically stand in lane last hitting, you can conjure an image with Radiance burn, and you can run it through the jungle, and you can kill 1 or 2 camps with every single illusion. And that is amazing. You can jungle super fast with it. I actually haven't tried it yet because I wanted to go for this max agility movement speed build, but I think this build's really good. An older build for Terrorblade before he had Reflection was actually to get a Sanjin Yasha. My damage output is amazing. It really is. Look at that. I'm hitting for 150 per hit. Continuing to spawn some images. Alright, pretty easy kill there. Actually didn't see all these heroes. I made a pretty big mistake here. I should have turned and sundered the clockwork while I was getting Omni Slashed, but for some reason I thought my team was actually still here, so I kind of ran away for some reason. This guy has 2 Vanguards, by the way, if you guys didn't notice. But he does indeed have 2 Vanguards, which is why he wasn't dying. He should be taking more damage than that, but yeah, I thought my allies were still there and I ran into that and died, so oh well. A bit of a mistake. I should have sundered the clockwork and I might have been able to survive then. So yeah, I'm going to make a Manta style. You can get Sanjin Yasha if you want because it does give you an extra disable, but I don't really think that's as needed as it maybe was in the past because you have Reflection. So you do have a disable now. If you want to burst somebody down, you're not just completely limited by your allies' disable. So I don't think you really have to go Sanjin Yasha anymore. Plus Manta style gives you so much right now. You'll see me do it later, but once you finish Manta, you can use your transformation, you can conjure an image, you can conjure a second image, and then you can make Manta style and have your hero and 4 illusions. Now Manta does a lot less damage than the Reflections. Ranged illusions for Manta does 28%, so the conjure image illusions actually do 2 times as much damage, and they also stay alive a lot longer, but it's still good. I mean, you're still increasing your damage by like 30%, basically. More than that. You're increasing it by like 50 something. So this allows you to do a couple things. First of all, you can evade stuns. You can dodge stuns with it. If you're really talented. You can also remove buffs and debuffs, which sometimes is very useful. You can create mind games. You can remove silences. You can just do a lot of different things with Manta. You can't cast Conjure Image while you're stunned or silenced, for example, because that's actually a spell, whereas Manta is an item. So there's a lot of things that Manta gives you that Conjure Image does not. But most importantly, the thing that Manta does is just allows you to push. Like I said, you break a lot of heroes, you summon a lot of illusions, you run into a tower, and you attack it until it dies. And it's going to die really fast, so if your enemies ever actually run away from you, or they let you be solo on the map somewhere, you can very easily push and take a tower very fast. So the split push threat is there. You can't actually blink away from danger like an anti-mage can, for example, but just look how fast I'm like almost 2-shotting creeps already with a Quelling Blade, despite not actually having that much farm in this game. I actually didn't have a TP scroll here, a bit of a mistake from me, but I decided to just go over here and pressure anyways. So I decided to try to kill him, so I was going to conjure an image first. And I was able to get the slow off on him. Look at this damage. Like, I don't have that many items, and that was a Juggernaut. Juggernaut is underfarmed, by the way, because Phoenix did do super well in the offlane. But a simple slow, I think he could have spun off the slow, if I'm not mistaken, so it was partially his mistake dying there. But I'm just going to go high ground, and I'm going to hit the tower right now. because these are reflection images, and this is, what, 22 minutes in the game, and look how much damage I'm doing to a tower. Of course I am overcharged slightly, but you can definitely fight this out, summon more images, and just right-click down the tower. And that is a tier 3 tower that's going to go down at this early in the game. All it takes is a little bit of a distraction, and my hero can solo kill carries, and I can definitely push towers. So Manta style will be finished. I'll be able to push even harder from here on out. The Yasha is really good, by the way. Of course, it does build into a Manta style, but movement speed is really good, as is the agility. It increases my illusion damage. Get another tower here. And I just kind of want to keep stacking up stats. I have been putting levels into stats here instead of reflection. I already talked about that. I don't think it really needs to scale. And more HP on Terrorblade is always going to be good, because it might be the amount of HP that it takes for me to be able to Sunder somebody or not. If I get my Sunder off, I have 2 lives. If I don't get the Sunder off, then it's not very good. So we're going to continue putting pressure on them. We don't necessarily have to push for the Rack's bottom. I'm just going to go swing top. I'll send my illusions to jungle while I go push the lane. Again, they can jungle very rapidly. Getting lifesteal at this point, it can be very useful as well, just because, man, I haven't been able, okay, the Manta is on my courier. I was going to say I haven't been able to use the courier in forever, but lifesteal can be pretty nice, because at this point your HP regen is actually fairly low as a percentage of your total, so it can be kind of nice to have more, to have the lifesteal at least. So I've got Manta style now. I'm picking up an ultimate orb. I'm going the next item, which is actually going to be a Skadi. This is one of the very few heroes that Skadi is semi-core on, and the reason it's core on him is because, number one, it gives him a ton of stats. He needs it all. He gets 25 strength for HP, he gets 25 agility for damage and attack speed, and he gets 25 int, which can be kind of nice to have the extra int as well. It's not really needed, but Skadi's a really nice item for him. And it also gives you the second most HP in the game behind Heart. So Skadi as an item is great for Terrorblade. Really, really great. It also gives you a range slow. That's pretty nice. It doesn't make your illusions slow, but your hero can always slow with the Skadi. So the Skadi is really nice. A Diffusal Blade is another option you can get if you want to do damage. So if I didn't want to go this build, I could do like Diffusal Blade, Sanj, and Yasha. I could go Yasha Diffusal Blade. That's probably a little too low in HP. I could go Sanj Diffusal Blade. But I'm basically doing this. I spawned a bunch of illusions. I'm standing away from my allies, and this is because I don't want to get blasted by the Caudal. And very easily am I going to be able to take towers and things, especially if this guy turns around here. I can just slow him with the reflection and then a couple easy right clicks, and that's a dead hero. Again, I'm just going to focus on the buildings because I can. Not really covering my allies very well here. That's a gem on the ground. I was kind of thinking about fighting this, but I did just lose my Metamorphosis, which is a little scary. I wasn't able to cast my Sunder in time on the Jug. I was getting mini stuns, so that was too bad. I should have just ran away immediately. It was a little wrong for me to try to get that kill. But look how much my illusion does. It's amazing. It's so good. So yeah, if you want to go into super hard carry Terrorblade and you're not being contested much, I would recommend getting like Tread's Radiance or something like that, and then you can go into Manta style and all this other stuff. It's basically a Hand of Midas. You can farm with it ridiculously fast, I think. But I like this build a bit more. It's a bit safer. If you're being contested, Treads into Drum is really good. Treads, Drum, and then make Manta style or make Skadi. You can go Skadi first if you want. I think Manta is the way to go. This guy whiffed pretty hard. It doesn't really take that much farm to be really strong in this here, though. Oh, I guess my net worth is actually ridiculously high, but even still. Oh gosh. Excuse me. So, another ultimate orb. Always happy to pick up ultimate orbs on this hero. If you look at my base damage, it looks quite high. Oh, yeah, another good item you can get. If you don't want to get a Skadi, you can actually make Butterflies really good. It gives your illusions 30 agi, and it also gives you evasion on your illusions. So if you're worried about a right clicker that's clearing your illusions, evasion is really good. So if I was super farmed after my Skadi, I would probably go Butterfly, 100%. You can also make a Daedalus. Daedalus allows your illusions to crit. It doesn't give them the bonus damage, but it does give them the ability to crit, which can really increase your damage, especially as like a 5th or 6th item. Crit can sometimes be the right choice. Just going to do the Ancients really quick with my illusions here. You can kind of see just how much damage we do. My Sunder mana cost is now 0 actually at max level. So this means no matter what, as long as I'm not stunned, I can cast Sunder. Look at that damage. It's so beautiful. And I'm just about able to finish my Skadi, so I'm just going to send the courier to the secret shop. I just need a point booster and a Orb of Venom. Phoenix stole my last hit. That's okay, I'll still have the money. Yeah, it's really nice to have big movement speed stacks on illusion heroes though, especially if you sometimes have melee ones, because it really just, it makes them all faster, which means you can chase better, and it's just like a big run at them kind of a style, where you just send so much stuff at them that they have to back up, and there's nothing they can really do about it. Hey, look, it's a Nyx Assassin. And then he checked my items, and he realized there was absolutely no way he was going to kill me. I've also noticed that he completely stopped shit-talking, and what's up with that, guys? I don't know what it is. We did see him kill that ward, but I didn't really feel like going to try to chase him down. I was like, whatever. I knew we were really far ahead now, so I wasn't that worried about getting solo kills for advantage. Oh, the Vlad is giving me a lot of damage as well, actually. I mean, look at my stats. It's so beautiful. They're like doubling my strength, I'm doubling my agility, I'm doubling my int. It's actually, Terrorblade's actually a pretty okay carry against Obsidian Destroyer. Oh no, that's not true. OD does bonus damage to illusions. I guess he's better against Sanity's Eclipse, but OD can like one-shot illusions because his orb gives bonus damage to them, so that's not true. At the very least, his ult won't do much damage. So I'm preparing for the push now, so I'm just going to transform already. I'm going to bring my illusions in, and I'm going to run them in and have a nice time. So illusions are going in. Oh yeah, in Dota 1, you couldn't actually use Manta on Metamorphosis very easily. There was like a little trick that you could do it, but it wasn't like the easiest thing ever. I am slowing him, of course, because I'm using the Eye of Skadi. In the meantime, my illusions have just been hitting the tower. Very rapidly, that's gonna die. Just gonna put a slow on him almost.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
He's trying to come over here for the kill. I actually do get a level off of it, so it's worth it. I unfortunately just lost my Skadi too. Sup? Oh, it felt good. I was so close to dying. So close, and then I sundered. Sunder's a good skill, guys. And there it is. Manta, Conjure, Image, right-click things die. Like, I'm full HP. They just spent so much to try to kill me. And use Sunder. Like, this hero is very good, honestly. I think he's very good. If one of those was a slow, like, if I could actually slow him there, he would have died, I think. My mana pool is still really high. It's actually one reason that Nyx is kind of okay against Terrorblade, because my int does scale a lot, so he can actually do like a 500 damage nuke with mana burn to me. It's not bad. Nyx is all around a pretty good hero against Terrorblade. He has a lot of trouble in the mid game, I think, because if he doesn't land his stun, it just pretty much is over, but... Yeah, Skadi does slow by a lot now. It does 35% attack speed and 35% movement speed. Really strong. It used to do 35 movement, 20 attack, I think, but now it does 35-35. So it's a bit more of an anti-DPS item. So it's pretty nice. You can do Shadowblade with Terrorblade. That's kind of fun as well. You can lower your HP in the jungle, and then you can run in and sunder somebody. But it's a little bit more gimmicky, and I don't really recommend that because you kind of need HP. And also the Shadowblade does nothing for your illusions, so. A little transforming here.
Dire's middle tower has fallen. Dire's middle barracks are under attack.
And now I'm just gonna kind of, you know, right-click stuff. That's 4 illusions in me. It's pretty okay damage.
Dire's middle tower has fallen.
So yep, that's Terrorblade. Treads is good, don't get Phase. Phase doesn't give your illusions anything. You can go Boots of Travel, that works if you really want to. Radiance if you're safe farming. If you're a little contested, go like Drums Yasha, I think is good, with maybe a wand or magic stick. And then from there you kind of just get big items. Skadi, Butterfly are really good. Both of those are really solid. You could make a Shadowblade if you really want to, but generally I think it's a little bit safer just to go Manta into Skadi. Lots of HP, a little disable. You still will have insane pushing and illusion tank, and at that point it's really hard for a typical carry to keep up with you. So ways to counter Terrorblade. Stuns are really good, as you guys saw. Mana Drain is pretty darn good before you get more levels in Sunder. And other than that, I think that's about the best way. Just burst damage is pretty good as well. They used a Dagon against me to try to burst me down, and it did work a little bit, but not super well. So those are the solutions. That's Terrorblade. Hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching the videos, and I'll get back to some more content soon. And hopefully I can stream soon. I have to do taxes today, I think. But I'll be streaming soon. Alright, thanks for watching, guys. Bye.